Well, let's go out to the guest line right now and talk to a man that knows a thing or two of what it's like to win this time of the year. And that, of course, the legendary coach Roy Williams. And Roy Williams spending time with us today on behalf of Verizon. And I'm a Verizon customer. But get this, he's personally calling up people in Western Carolina to tell them their debts of necessity are being wiped out. Verizon is erasing $10 million in debt for 6,500 people in North Carolina still recovering from Hurricane Helen. And now joining us, of course, is Roy Williams. Coach, appreciate the time. Thanks so much for doing this. And how you been?
I've been doing well, except on game nights when the other team scores more points. I don't enjoy that part, but it's been a great time for us, and I've loved what I was able to do this morning, talking to some people who have gotten the relief of their debt from Verizon, and I've loved that, seeing the hope get a little bit better in their eyes, and I think that's the biggest thing that Verizon is doing. They're giving more people hope that other people do care. And North Carolina was devastated, and I saw pictures and the whole bit. I was in South Carolina when it hit. I came straight back to North Carolina, but until you go through the mountains of North Carolina, you go in Asheville and see the places that I knew so well as a kid, and it's just devastating. And seeing it on TV is not like seeing it live, I can tell you that.
Yeah, and when you have people's lives that are literally flipped upside down because of Hurricane Helene, and you're able to provide them a moment of joy today, just what is that like? What have those conversations been like when you get to tell them that they're wiping out the debt?
It's been a really neat thing. I'm old school, and people may not know what neat means, but it's been a really neat thing to me. A couple of the people got very emotional. One mom kept saying, thank you, I appreciate it. She said she couldn't hardly think of anything else to say, but she was very emotional. And times are tough. We have a lot of difficult things going on in our world right now, but in Western North Carolina, particularly with what Verizon's doing for the victims of Hurricane Helene is just incredible. And it has been a neat deal for me to talk to those people. And Verizon has something they're saying is, we will always stand by you. And I'm an old soul music kind of guy, stand by me kind of thing. But I love that idea, and the way that we can talk to those people has been, again, really neat for me.
Yeah, and Coach, I always admire how you help people out. You know, I do a weekly spot in football season on sports radio on WFNZ, and they used to air my show when I was in a different time slot, and I've become very close with two of the hosts there, Mac and Bone, and their community. And I remember just a little while back when, unfortunately, our buddy Mark from Gastonia did pass away, when we knew that the end was coming. You sent a very nice video to him. I've always just admired that about you, where, right, you have made it in life. You're a creme de la creme basketball coach, and you're always willing to try to put a smile on people's faces.
Well, when you see Roy Williams, it's hundreds of people that helped me throughout my entire life, because the story was not a smooth beginning, but so many people helped. And I do think that the more you give, the more you receive. And I believe that deep in my soul. And, you know, what I'm doing this morning is just calling people and saying, hey, somebody's taking care of part of your debt. It's not like I'm doing anything that's really hard. And I enjoy people. I've always liked being around people. And this area here has just been hit so hard, Zach. It's unbelievable what it looks like when you see it in person.
Roy Williams here with us, a legendary college basketball coach. It's crazy how many years, right, you've no longer been coaching at UNC now. When you look back at your career this time of the year, everyone's going to talk about the national championships, but it's so much more than that. When you look back at this journey spanning through all those years, just what are some of the memories and thoughts that come back to mind when you take a look back at what you were able to do?
Well, I try not to do that too much because I'm getting too old. But when I do, I think of the relationships. That's what I really miss. I miss coaching every single day. But what I miss are the practices, the locker room, the bus rides. I don't necessarily miss the games for sure, but it's something that I can tell it to you this way. I was a head coach for 33 years. I coached for 48 years, and nobody enjoyed it. Nobody enjoyed it more than I did. And so for me, I want to do some things that can help some people. I love watching the Tar Heels play. My oldest grandson played on the JV team this year at Myers Park in Charlotte, and I saw a lot of his games. And, you know, when I was a head coach at Kansas, my own son played 3 miles down the road from Allen Fieldhouse, and I missed over half of his games. And so I'm loving that part of it. But I do miss the coaching part of it. The relationships is the best thing to me.
Now, how about what college basketball is now? I'm all for players making money. I'm all for player empowerment, but relationships are tough to build this time of the year, especially with the transfer portal and all that stuff. College basketball, it's a business now, and that's not a secret. What are your thoughts on the new kind of format?
Well, it's definitely a business to a much higher degree than it was when I was coaching. It was a business then, but not anything like it is now. It's changed dramatically. I'm all in favor of NIL. I mean, all in favor of that. Problem is, I don't think that's what we have. You should be able to make some money from your name, image, and likeness, but we've gotten into a pay for play thing, and I don't think that's what was intended. Now, is that going to be good or bad long term? I don't know. But I love the idea of a young man being able to make some money on his actions and what he's done. So I'm all for that, 100%. The loyalty factor with the transfer portal is really hard. The fact of the matter of pay for play is really hard. I used to try to recruit people and say, I'm going to see you, I'm going to be there more than anybody else. And now that's not quite as important. And so there's some negative things there, but I still say this, and I say it to every interview, and I'm doing a lot today. When that referee steps in and starts to throw that ball up, and it's Duke and North Carolina, that's what's going to be on people's mind, watching that score, who's going to win that game. But I loved working with young men. I loved coaching, trying to take 13 to 17 guys and making them into the best five out there on the court at one time. That was a thrill and a job for me that I actually loved every minute of it every day.
And you look at it, right? When you walk away, when Coach K walks away, I totally understand it. But someone like Jay Wright, I understand if you don't want to do this anymore, you don't need to. And Jay's made a ton of money, has all the nice suits, all the championships, right? But it's just so unfortunate when a guy that is still pretty young at this walks away, which what I felt like a lot more to give. It's unfortunate for the sport.
Well, I think it is too. When Lon Kruger, Tubby Smith, I can go on down the line. One of my favorites right now is Tommy Izzo in breaking Bob Knight, and Bob Knight was great for Roy Williams. He was Coach Dean Smith was, needless to say, my biggest mentor by a million miles, but Coach Knight was great for me. Tom Izzo is great. Everybody that's played at Michigan State has gained a great deal for playing for Tom Izzo. And I don't know how much longer it's going to be, whether it's going to be 5 years or 5 days. It depends, Big Tom. But he's a great friend, and I'm so happy for him this weekend. But I do believe that the young coaches are going to be okay, and everything's got to settle a little bit. And when you come out and make dramatic changes, you have dramatic results. And I'm hopeful that things will calm down a little bit more and make it where people can enjoy their life as a college basketball coach like Roy Williams did.
I know that you've had 3 championship teams, and it's the 25th anniversary of your 2005 team, but I want to ask you about the most recent championship team that you had, just because I brought up Jay Wright. We all know what happened the year before, and then you guys come back and then you win it all. To get that moment for where you were 1 year to then what happened the following year, I know everyone wasn't there, but for the players that were there, just what did that mean to you to get that moment of redemption?
Well, I didn't even hear the word redemption in 17 until we got to the Final Four. And the players have sort of kept that to themselves. But in 16, when we lose to Jay's Villanova team that was very deserving, and Jay's a great friend, it killed me in a certain way. I did not know what I could say to my team in the locker room. And the funniest thing is, I'm not a big media guy, okay? I understand it's not against what you're doing. But the next year, the very first practice, I let them mic me during practice.
Really?
The only time I've ever done that for a whole practice. And I looked around the circle. I blow the whistle and everybody runs to the circle. And this is practice number 1. And I said, guys, last year we were there on Monday night. It didn't quite work out for us, the final result. But right here in front of me is a team that can be the last team standing on Monday night. I believe in this team. I believe in you. And we'd lost Marcus Page and Bryce Johnson, arguably our 2 best players. Well, we go out and win the whole blessed thing. 2 weeks later, we have the basketball banquet, and they show that tape. I'd forgotten all about it. It made me look like I knew what the crap I was doing. But it was coming back in 17 and winning that, knowing how badly our team, including myself, felt in 16, and then feeling that. And I used to like to just back off a little bit and watch them jump around and act crazy. And I probably jumped around and acted crazy with them as much as anybody. But that was a neat time in the locker room for Roy Williams.
To get to today's version of the Tar Heels, there's a lot of conversation about someone you know very well in Hubert Davis and if he's still the right guy for the job. What do you say to people that are questioning that right now?
I used to say this about Roy Williams, that I had more desire and more want to in my little finger, more passion than all the Carolina fans put together. Hubert Davis may hold up his left hand because he writes left-handed, but he has more passion and more concern in his little finger than all those people put together. He's the right person for the job. It just makes me just cringe. I mean, why are people talk? His first year, he played for the national championship. His third year, he won the regular season. There's 811 teams in the ACC now, or something close to that. He won the regular season last year. And so we've had some tough moments this year. There's no question about that. But the season's not over. I think we're going to make a run here. And I would love for it to turn around 180 degrees so I could look at all those other suckers and tell them to shut up.
That's unbelievable. Coach,
how's that going to help your ratings?
That's good. You said you're not a radio guy. You just put the cherry on top of the sundae. I got to ask you this, and then we'll let you run. And I really appreciate the time today. The legendary Roy Williams with us. You're still as energetic as ever. You're still passionate. I think you get back on the sideline tomorrow and coach. Is that it, or are you actually done, or will you ever be open to returning to coaching college basketball?
No, I'm done. You know, I had the best job in the world for Roy Williams as a coach at North Carolina. And, you know, I've had a lot of people ask and some people offer me other jobs. And if I was going to work, I'd still be on the sideline with a whistle. And but no, I'm done. I've only missed 2 home games in 4 years. I go to see other schools play. I think I said to you, I saw Tennessee and Missouri play last week. I've been to see Michigan State play, West Virginia play, Kansas play, North Carolina A&T play against Monmouth, one of our former players, King Rice. But I love watching the game. I love being around the kids. But no, I'm where I should be right now.
At this stage of your life, if it's not basketball related, what do you do for fun? Just wondering.
My grandkids, that's the most fun I have, is my family. I enjoy teeing it up on the golf course and talking a little trash. You know, I can talk trash as good as 74-year-old man in the world, but so I do enjoy those things. But my family is, I miss so many things, my own children. I'm trying to make sure that I don't miss it with my grandchildren.
That's unbelievable stuff. Well, once again, Coach is doing a wonderful thing today. Roy Williams is spending time with us today on behalf of Verizon. Or get this, he's personally calling up people in Western Carolina to tell them their debts of necessity are being wiped out. Verizon is erasing $10 million in debt for 6,500 people in North Carolina still recovering from Hurricane Helene. And, Coach, we really appreciate the time, and thanks for carving out a few minutes to keep up the great work.
Zach, thank you very much. And you did that nicely with Verizon. I've got 2 other people here looking at me, and so they're saying I'm doing okay, and you did great.
Well, I got my phone right here, Verizon phone, ever since I was able to get a cell phone, so really do appreciate it. Thanks so much, Coach.
All right, thank you. Have a great day.